All right. What's up, everybody? How are you all doing today? Saturday. Yeah, we're doing a Saturday comic book community show here. We're going to be chatting with some, just some different comic book guys from out the community. And well, so far we've got on the panel, we're probably going to bring in some guests as a fourth person eventually. But so far we've got me, Trinity, as you all well know me, I'm sure. Wrong side here. And Chris here as well. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Chris.
Hey, I'm Chris, Chaos and Comics. So I'm excited to be here. Last week was fun. I just sort of hopped on impromptu, so wasn't really ready. So I'm able to like make sure that he still might kick down the door, but my wife's here to watch him. If he shows up, you know what I mean? So Dylan will probably come back around here soon, and we'll be the trifecta, if you will. But yeah, excited to be here. Excited to talk about all the crazy stuff. I hear you talk about Alone while I'm working. Like I listen to you. Do you realize when I'm like commenting when I'm able to on your morning show, I'm like literally in front of a computer, like making rich people more money?
Right. So it's your fault, huh?
Yeah, I'm part of the problem.
You're part of the problem, keeping all them rich people's money working for us all.
Yeah,
and most of all themselves, I'm sure.
Yeah. So the rich people I make more rich. They're nice. So I'm not saying anything bad about them. And they also pay me. So.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say there's nothing wrong with rich people, man. Like not like all them crazy people out there that think if you own money, you owe it to somebody else.
Yeah.
We got Biden Touch here, Marquise Roberts, Captain Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for being here. Says so I'll be listening. What up, people? Okay, I'm guessing he's meaning at work also.
Oh.
All right. Oh, and look, and then here we go. We got Dylan. What's up, my boy? How you doing?
What's going
there
on?
There he is.
My
Dylan,
boy,
you're late.
Chaos. What's going on? Sorry I'm late.
No, man, it's all right. I was late too myself. So I was just telling Chris what happened was I went to work. I went to see a movie. Rode my bike. Went to the movies. I watched Bad Boys for Life. Then I rode home. And as I was riding home, I remembered I was like, oh man, I was supposed to go see these customers today. They called and wanted me to come on Saturdays because I don't really go out on Saturdays much. But I get a few people that occasionally want me to go. So I was like, oh crap. So I went and went and seen them. And that's when I texted you guys on Instagram. I was like, oh man, hey, I'm just a few minutes behind, man.
No worries, man. That's why I was like, take your time, bro. Don't rush home. Don't get in no accident. Gotta keep you safe and sound.
Oh yeah.
But with that girl that I recommended you, you recommended me to my channel, or you recommended her to my channel, Wished Upon. She went and saw Bad Boys today too.
Yeah.
But did you like it? So I want to go see it. I might see it Wednesday.
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, if you watch the other previous Bad Boys movies, I mean, it falls right in line with those. It's just a Bad Boys movie.
Not better than the last two.
No, I would say it was right. The one thing I think it just kind of matured with like the audience. You know what I mean? Like there's a couple of father jokes in there and stuff like that. But there was some of that in the second one also. But there was some really great callbacks that they did to the second one as well.
I saw like the first 10-20 minutes on like a leaked version, but it was so shitty quality. I was like, nah, I'm gonna just wait because me and my buddy are just gonna go see it Wednesday.
I'm surprised some people actually like the second one more. I mean, I love the first one. The first one, I think that might have been this first CD I bought with my own money, was the Bad Boys soundtrack. So my introduction to like Tupac, maybe. What is that, 95 or 4? When did the first Bad Boys come out?
I think it was 95.
I want to say was it 95 maybe?
I think so.
95.
So to tell you the truth, what happened was I didn't buy it with my own money. We had one record store in the small town I lived in, and I traded. The record store guy was always super high. I traded him the NES game Narc, and he let me get 3 CDs, and one of them was the Bad Boys soundtrack. So I think I had CDs before that.
So you had something to barter with, and I guess that's kind of the same thing as paying for yourself.
Yeah, the irony was the dude was high, and he wanted the NES games I brought. He wanted the game Narc. If you guys remember that game Narc, that was Dylan doesn't remember that.
I'm pretty sure I remember that one.
Yeah.
What?
the game. There's an old NES game called Narc, but NES, like blow and lick NES, not your newfangled Super Nintendo.
No, I played NES, but yeah, I think the first system I got was like Dreamcast. Because I never had systems really growing up. Or no, my first system was Nintendo 64. But my uncle always got like all the systems. So I would like, once he was done with them or he was sick of them, he'd give me all his leftover or his old systems and stuff he never played. So I played it a little bit, but yeah.
Dude, all kinds of friends are in the chat.
Yeah, I was gonna say we also got Zach Bolton here, Julie from Wished Upon a Vlog, Tara Zahn. I said Biden Touch is still here. Fenrir Fire, Marquise Roberts, Downright Nerdy Podcast, Perry Comics. Man, we got all kinds of people in here today. So yeah, guys.
Dude, Marquise,
like I was saying, went and saw the movie, and it's kind of a slow week in comics, man. Like, how are you guys feeling without any Dawn of X books to read this week?
Like, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Been taking a little break, and it's gonna be picking up big time. They got, what was it? They got a Cable one shot. They got the Magneto one shot coming. They got Hellions, and then they just announced more stuff. If you've seen Pop Culture Philosophers, he did like a weekly news thing. They're doing a Nightcrawler one shot. Like giant size thing. Yeah, the giant size. I wonder if Hickman's writing that, because he's not writing the Cable one, but I don't know if the Cable is technically a giant size. That might just be a one.
No, that's a series, I think.
I think
Brisson, or it's a miniseries, but Brisson's writing it.
Yeah.
There's also Children of the Atom coming out, which is also a cool game back in the day, and then X Factor.
X Factor, yep. Isn't Children of the Atom, that's Vita Alea, the one who's writing Morbius? I think so. Yeah. I thought there was maybe one more, but I could be wrong.
Yay!
But
yeah, man, it's been ridiculous. I mean, with so many titles and everything coming out, like it is nice to get a break, but then they're just gonna start socking it right back to you anyway.
There wasn't supposed to be a break.
2 titles a week.
Yeah, there wasn't supposed to be a break, though. This says at the back of X-Force, last week's X-Force, it says so they must have just shipped late, because that's only a week difference. It says Fallen Angels 5 and X-Men 5 were supposed to come out in January 15th.
Yo, you should have told me you should have told me there was a theme for the thumbnail.
There wasn't really. I just kind of something. It was just kind of something last minute. I was just slapping together. I'm like, oh man, I gotta hurry and get something made.
I'm just clowning. I was trying to think. Next week, I think we get Marauders and last issue of Fallen Angels.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
But
no, X-Men 5 isn't coming out, because on the back of X-Force it says X-Men 5 is
they screwed up on the dates, because if you look, Fallen Angels was supposed to come out this week or this past week, and we got all of them at once. Let me see. I got the preview, because I was trying to add up how much next week's going to be. We got Guardians coming out next week.
Yeah.
I might be dropping ASM though. ASM 38. I'm like on the fence, because it's been so slow, man. But we got Excalibur 6.
And lick. Look, how are you guys so passive about X-Force This might be panel of the year so far.
Oh yeah,
how are you guys so? Yet last week you guys were like, oh, it was just an action scene. That's half Wolverine stabbing people.
I like the action stuff. I like action stuff.
That was dope.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because that's what I've liked about that series so far. Is like it's really like it's a lot of action, and there's just like a bunch of gory stuff in there. It's really like body horror-ish, and I think I'm into that.
I love it, and I can't wait for what Person can do. I love Forge was so dope. Forge was awesome in that issue, man. He was awesome in issue 4 and 5. I almost was going to say 6, but I misspoke. It's Excalibur 6. That's this week. Excalibur and Marauders. So now
I'm excited for number 6. Excalibur number 5 was so good. It took a while to really build up, but I had so much fun with Excalibur 5.
I'm sure it's not going to Here, let it flow. It's Apocalypse on the throne. On a throne.
Let's see.
Let's see. When I focus.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, there he is. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So, well, we'll have plenty of Dawn of X next week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get
Yeah.
and we can maybe throw a little Guardians in there. Cause I'm hoping that's gonna be big. That's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be the big title. We could do Dawn of X and Guardians next week. Cause that's
Or
gonna
we
be
just
the big title.
We just do comics. Because I don't know. Are you buying Guardians, Trinity? I don't know if I'm gonna buy it.
I'm probably not gonna get it.
You're not even gonna give it a shot. You buy so much. I find that so surprising.
Yeah,
you Chaos. You get a lot, and you get a lot of obscure stuff that I feel like not a lot of people always like talk about, and I like that about you.
Yeah, I'm a hipster, but yeah, I don't know. Well, here's the thing. I didn't finish Donny Cates' Guardians yet. I still got like 4 issues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me.
Well, I don't know if it's really gonna matter. I think his shit's gonna be completely new and fresh.
But yeah, it is. Like, why am I gonna start a new Guardians when I haven't finished the old Guardians kind of thing?
I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. You know, I'm kind of disappointed that Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen. It looks like every issue is gonna be $5. Issue 2 showing $5.
Yeah.
And that's the A cover I'm looking at. And I'm gonna have to get the B cover because I think the B cover matches with the last variant cover.
I think I think that's actually, let's talk about that a little bit because I'll have a review coming out. I'll do a review in a little bit, but we can even talk about it here because I don't care. I'll just say what I'll say in the review and then no one has to watch it. But
no, I'm gonna watch them both.
Yeah, there's a few, especially with Marvel, the $4.99 covers. Like, let's assume that you're getting more pages. Let's just assume the per page is better. Like, it's 4.5 cents instead of 5 cents. But like this is from last week, and to be honest, I just bought it on a whim. Like, my LCS got some of their stuff late. One of them I go to, and I didn't pick it up at the other one, and I just grabbed this one. So this issue is I actually was very entertained by this Ravencroft Carnage issue. Carnage is not even in it.
Did you get the Sabretooth one? Because next week is Dracula.
Yeah, or Sabretooth or whatever. But I don't even want to talk about the issue. What I want to say, though, is that, like, in my review, what I'm going to say is this was actually pretty cool, but don't buy it. Because it's still a $4.99 book. You know what I mean?
It's so stupid.
And it's happening a lot, and I guess you're getting more per page and it's better. This was $4.99 also. And I know people were clowning on it, but I read it today. I was at a bar, but let's just pretend it was a coffee shop. But I read this today and it was actually pretty cool. I mean, for the kind of thing I like, it's like if Hickman tried to write Venom, it was just so like obscure. But there's more pages, but it's $4.99 also. Like the only way that these are not going to be $4.99 is if we just choose not to buy them. Like maybe in issue 1. I mean, I'm being a hypocrite because I'm buying them, right? But I'm just going to outright tell people not to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not buying them.
Yeah.
I'm putting that towards some independent, brother. I'm not getting sucked in no more. I'm learning your ways, Marvel and DC, and I'm not getting sucked in.
Yeah, that's like
I've been sucker for too long.
Yeah, in any of the Marvel stuff, as far as their events, man, I'm pretty much done with their events. Like, anytime they're doing an event from now on, I'll just wait for it to come out on trade,
or I'm just getting the main story. The only event I'm sticking with at the moment is X-Men, and I'm like gonna try to really be careful with that because after I've seen, you know what I'm saying, like I'm not really feeling Fallen Angels. If I could, I probably would have just stuck with, like 4 of the titles, 4 of the 6.
So Trinity, the events on the event side, or not even on the event side, on the $4.99 side, like, let's say though that you are actually getting more bang for your buck. Like and by the way, it's not 4 and 5% for cents. An issue like this, they're more like 17 cents a page and like 16 cents a page. It's trades that get into 4 and 5 cents.
Yeah.
So let's say you're getting more bang for your buck, Trinity. Is like you still don't like $4.99, and why?
I mean, I don't know. It seems like too much. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they charge a lot for their books anyway in the first place. And then like it better like if I want to pay $4, that extra dollar per issue, they better be they better be like the House of X and Powers of X good, because those were actually well worth the money that was spent on them. I believe for the most part they were.
They
So I
should have
want
been more.
I at least want some good art with it, with the good story. I mean, it's got to be a little more like because other than that, I mean, you can go to indies and find some for the $3.99 that have that are just like up there in quality as compared to we'll get with some of that stuff. And and that, I guess that's where it comes to watching different people's reviews and stuff and being like, okay, because everybody kind of feels a little bit differently about them. But yeah, I don't know, some of them it just seems a little too much.
I tell you, man, the only way I'm like down for the $5 is if they're like the size of like, remember Absolute Carnage issue 1? It was like 3 issues in one. That's the only way.
So but it's the same question.
But that's too much. It should have been 5.
Well, but that's the same question to you. If you're getting, so you still don't like $4.99 if the per page is cheaper, you still don't like $4.99, and why?
First off, they'll probably be giving us cheaper paper too.
Well, it's the same paper on Marvel. It's the same shitty. It's still shitty.
I swear I noticed sometimes some books are a little bit different. Like the paper, maybe it's just the cover sometimes, but sometimes I notice maybe they're all just probably the same cheap ass shit. But maybe I'm just thinking of like an indie, because I know that's definitely a lot better.
Yeah, but for Marvel though, why? Like if $4.99 is cheaper per page, why don't you like $4.99?
It's just too much, man, and you're not getting any extra story.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if there's extra story and it's worth it and it's a good one, I'd say it's worth the extra money.
Because sometimes they do give you like the first issue is like a couple more pages, but I don't want Hickman white pages. I don't want that. I want real story.
No, I don't count the Hickman. I like the Hickman white pages. I don't count them though. This book though, that turned out to be good, right? To be honest, I think it could have been just as good if you drop the 4 or 6 more pages or whatever it was. I'll count them right now just for the hell of it while you guys are talking. But I think it could have been just as good. Like this book happened to be good, in my opinion. I'm sure other people wouldn't like it. It had nothing even to do with Carnage, and I'm sure it could. I'm sure I would have had this same experience with it if it were $3.99 and we're 6 pages less somehow. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like we're buying it, we're picking it up. So
I didn't, but yeah,
I'll
tell you,
sometimes that's the risk you take, because like I heard a lot of people talking about that Incoming that came out, and I didn't go check it out. I was like, yeah, I don't know, just didn't really sound into it, and then I heard a lot of people saying it's just like an ad for more books getting ready to come, and some people are saying it's cool because it kind of ties a lot of stuff in together, which is kind of good too. But I don't know. I mean, I've kind of heard everybody's reviews on it. It's like it's kind of got mixed reviews. Some people liked it, some people didn't. It sounds like it could add some value if you're keeping up with all of it.
Yeah, but I didn't even read Marvel Comics 1000. I picked it up and I tried to read it, and I just couldn't get through it. So I'm like, I'm not spending $10 on this shit. Like, I know they got like a Joker 80th anniversary book coming. They're doing the $750 for Wonder Woman, which is gonna be $10, 100 different covers. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. And I do like Wonder Woman, so I'm just not doing it though. Cause look at Bueller. Bueller's got the Detective 1000 comics for what? 50 cents. Just recently, he literally bought a shit ton of them. Like, it's like, and we're paying $10. Like, come on, dude. No, I'm just done with that. I mean, I'll let the Marvel comics go because I got that awesome Alex Ross cover. But otherwise, man, it's just
Incoming though was a little bit of a joke, right? It was really
that was the big joke.
It was just a preview. I didn't buy it either.
Perry Comics sends a $1.99 super chat. Looks like he's lurking.
We got 2, brother. We got one from Perry, and we got one from Just the Rican and his comics. Rod, what's up, my brother?
I'm a little behind here. Yeah, there we go. And one from Just the Rican and his comics. Rod the Rican is absolutely awesome. Big part of the comic book community out there. Goes out there and supports. Just brings on people on his channel. Just kind of brings different guests on Sundays. Does the the comic community shout out. That's always a good show, And he likes to keep he's smart. He keeps his live streams like 1 hour long, so they're rewatchable. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I get on a live stream and it goes on for 2 hours, 3 hours, and it's like, man, nobody wants to rewatch that. Nobody wants to watch that not live.
Why are you talking crap about Perry?
Sometimes,
some of those are just conversations for people to pop in on.
It just depends. It depends how much free hours the person has, I guess. But yeah, no doubt. Because that's why I'm even trying to cut back and do like hour, 2 hours. But
so this regular Ghost Rider book, $3.99. That's 20 pages, and I'm counting only story and art. I'm not counting like this page. I like it, but so this assuming that you like it, this is
I do actually. I did like it, but I dropped it.
This is 20 cents a page, and then this one came out to 16 cents a page, 16 and a half cents a page. So I don't know if you're getting more for your bet, but I like to buy a bunch of books also, or you could just wait 3 months and this will be in a dollar bin.
Hey, was that a first appearance at the end of the book, Chaos? That last page?
Sorta. I think it is actually.
Dr. Stranger's coming in issue 6.
I like Ghost Rider.
I actually wasn't gonna drop it, and I'm like, I gotta. You know what I'm saying? I gotta learn. I gotta cut it off at some point, man. And there's just so much, and I have such a problem with dropping stuff. But I want to get into more of these indies, man. I have to try to get into more of these, man. I really want to, man. I feel like I'm missing out on so much with these independents. And I got, you know what I'm saying? Some of these Marvel and DCs, they're always going to be there,
Yeah, it's true. And plus, some of them, they'll probably be easier to find in trades and stuff like that than some of the indies as well.
Exactly. And I'm still going to have a shit ton on my Marvel and DC. You know what I'm saying? When I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, I got all the X-Men's. I got my Venom. I got my Immortal Hulk, Guardians now, Thor. You start thinking, you're like, oh, no, my Marvel's toned down a little bit. Then you start thinking, you're like, oh, no, this just started. Because I'm like, oh, I had a bunch of stuff end, but it's a lot of stuff ends. And a lot of stuff keeps beginning. You know what I'm saying? So it never ends, man. But I love it, man. I'm getting all the new Star Wars stuff that's coming, like the Bounty Hunters. We got Lee Bermejo doing those covers, which is awesome. I hope it's good. I wish it was more Boba Fett instead of, I don't know who this guy is, Valk or something.
He's cool. I mean, he was just in Target Vader.
I'm hoping I'm giving it a shot, no doubt, but I think everyone kind of was like, oh, why isn't it more Mandalorian based? But I think that I just hope that he has a good position in the story. But it looks awesome, so I'm excited for that. Darth Vader and all that.
I seen somebody earlier asked about what are you guys thinking about the new Thor? Have you guys read that one?
Issue 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh man, I love it.
We all read it, right? We all read that, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a great way to start. I think one of the things you got to be afraid of is, I mean, Jason Aaron basically, has 4 years. It's going to be one of the seminal. People are going to see that run as one of the seminal Thor runs. And so the idea when I was reading, I was like, it's Donny Cates, so they gave it to a writer that's pretty creative. But what's he going to do? How are you going to make it different? And it felt different to me immediately. It felt closer to like Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange just did a bunch of stuff with Galactus. But it felt different than Thor was before immediately. So what he's going to do with it, I'm curious. I'm going to stay with it for a while. So
I hope.
I just want to point out, Marquise has been on fire on your channel. He says a lot of funny stuff. So funny stuff and good stuff too. So I haven't been able to read this whole chat, and I'm going to pay $5 for Hella Risen because I haven't paid for one of those things yet. So that's the only one I'm doing. But I just want to point out Marquise.
He's one of the best, man. That's one of my day one supporters right there, man. He has been showing support since day one for me, man.
Yeah, I've seen him around.
I have a list of like 5 to 10 guys of day ones that were, that I didn't know in the community. Like obviously I knew you and Trinity. I knew you and the guys, but guys that kind of don't do so do their own videos that came and supported me. I got like a few of them that I can't forget.
That just got me kind of wondering, like, why don't we have Marquise Roberts on here talking with
I know. I want to get him on. I don't.
Really just got to get.
Is that
set up. One day he'll be on. I wasn't live streaming last year almost at all, like very rarely, and I've like tripled the amount of live streams I've done in just like 18 days. So
right.
Who's G-Spot asking that address for?
For a lot of this stuff that we're doing, like talking about comic books and stuff, it's really actually kind of easier just to do that. Although I actually like sitting down and doing shop videos and all that stuff. I actually like doing that. But for the most part, when doing like this kind of stuff, it's a lot easier to just go live and just have fun and interact with the people in the chats.
Yeah, Discovery Bay, JB at Discovery Bay found that out because he used to have those highly produced daily shows. And he started realizing, I'm just going to go live every day. Forget it.
Right. And, it depends on what you're doing with your channel as well, because, they say there are downsides to going live all the time. And, it really kind of, I think really kind of depends on what kind of content you're doing and exactly what you're doing. But because I could see like doing live so much hurting some channels, whereas others, it could really help. Just kind of depends on the crowd you got and things like that, I guess.
Well, for example, that's sort of your thing. Excuse me. That's sort of your thing to go live. I mean, you put out the videos too, but you do the morning, almost every morning. I know that Bueller, for example, ended up making a new channel for his like live conversations, right? When he wants to be on like Dirty Nerdy or something like that.
Right.
So you see that where he has a bunch of produced content and a lot of like, this is what's coming out now, kind of content. And so some of his live stuff has to be on a completely different channel, and I think that's sort of what you were alluding to, right? That for his content, he should only be going live so much, and he has another channel to just do it when he needs to.
Right. Yeah, because I know even like the Den of Nerds, I've been following them for a while. They've done the same thing as something they'd kind of been planning on, but yeah, they went ahead and they took their one channel that they do like a lot of their core content on. They keep that there and keep the lives off because it really depends on what you're trying to do. For what they're doing over there is he's trying to build a big like brand and a channel. You know what I mean? Like something more multimedia type of thing. So obviously you want to make sure that the YouTube algorithm is going to push all your videos as much as possible. Basically getting as much bang for your buck as you can. Where then when it comes down to doing live streams and things like that, it hurts like audience retention time and just things like that. So it all really depends. And when it comes to things like that, that's when I would actually look to somebody like Josh over there at the Den of Nerds, because he knows a lot about like the way YouTube works and his algorithms and stuff. And he's kind of told me about some of that stuff. And okay, like I'm sure I go live too much for what I do, but it's working so far.
Yeah, but if your thing is to go live, I think you're okay. But when you say audience retention, you mean like percentage per video?
Yeah, and it also has to do with like how much push it's going to get at, like if it's worth doing for the channel, actually hurting your channel as far as pushing some of the videos out when you're doing so many lives and things like that. I don't know, and plus the algorithm seems like it's always changing too. So
probably is. So for me, like I use YouTube as like more of a social media platform than anything else. But like my channel is basically a review channel. But when I do go live or I do a long video or I put up a podcast, because my reviews are like 5 minutes. I don't do long reviews. I don't edit them really unless it's like digital stuff that I need to talk about. But if I go live or put on a podcast, do a live video, even with my like lower view count, don't work on it kind of thing, like it shoots mine up because I have so many 5-minute videos that if I do anything long and I get like even a small number, like 10 people watching it, I just see this bump. I go, oh, that's the day I went live, or that's the day I posted a podcast or something like that,
Yeah, I totally hear you. Let's see, and I'm sure I'm way behind on the chat here.
Just go to the people that are putting down cheddar. I actually don't like them.
Oh yeah, there we go. We got comic book G-Spot Galvin says, gotta support my brothers. Good show, gentlemen. My weakness is Morbius, Silver Surfer. Perry address. Oh, there we go.
So I guess I could show this since he said Silver Surfer. I've showed this like on 13 channels. This is the Treasury edition. So shout out to Two Brothers Comics. They put it on Instagram. That there's the comic I keep talking about. I mean, I don't think this Ravencraft comic got any more play on any channel than right now. I've just showed it 15 times. But Two Brothers Comics said this was $10.99 on Amazon a couple days ago. So it is the big Treasury edition. If there's a Treasury edition that works, it's Trad Moore's art. You read this, right, Trinity, or no?
No, I didn't.
You skipped Silver Surfer Black?
I did, but I was waiting for it because, as I say, because it just came out on trade, didn't it?
Buy that, man.
This Treasury edition was $10.99. It was regular $30. Like if you went and bought it at your LCS at your.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I mean, I already showed
on Amazon. It shows it's out of stock, but it will restock, and then you can get it for that same price before they try to up it. If you purchase it now, you'll get that price. They won't take it away from you. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I'm going to do that. Because it's out of stock for the moment, but they might try to up it, you know?
I think the reason it was, though, and I'll look at reviews later because people are be just getting them in, but the last page of what would be issue 3 is torn, if you see that there.
See, you haven't read it, so you should definitely get that, Trinity. Like, I want to get it, and I own the issues.
Right?
Because it's actually with Thor, a lot of people are hyping Silver Surfer up now, that acting like those issues are going to be worth like big money too, and the people are trying to track down the variants and everything, saying that they're going to be worth a lot because it really is a big part of Thor. Because if you read it, you know it's
first appearance of Silver
Surfer and Thor. It's going to be Surfer and Thor big time in this. Some little surfer crotch action. You know, like I bought it just alone for that.
Okay, Demarch sent a $2 super chat. Says, "How the hell are you, man? The Dark Council FTW." That's right, guys. If you guys don't already know, every Tuesday we do a show called the Dark Council. It was all started by Drunk 3PO, and occasionally we have it on different channels where a few of us just get together and just talk about different things going on out there in the world. Sometimes funny news articles and just other topics. Always a good time.
When someone's sick, I'll hop on that. I think when I watch that, I'm like, I'll be like the positive Star Wars guy. That's more like a lot of boycotters on that chat.
Yeah, and like me, like crazy. For the most part, I'm like, I don't care about Star Wars that much. Like, I like the movies; they're all right. Like, you know, I'm not big, like, super nerdy on it, which, you know, so. You know, I mean, I grew up liking Star Wars and enjoying Star Wars. I grew up, you know, loving all that stuff. But like, I don't know. I don't get too much into that.
I'm like nerdy with it, but I don't get like pissed or hype. Like some people get a little like it's their religion or something. And it's like, nah, I just sit back and enjoy the movie. And if I don't like it, that's that. You know, I might get pissed about some things, but I don't rant as much as like how I get pissed about LeBron. I don't get pissed like that. I don't get pissed like that with Star Wars.
You should understand then. You know what I mean? Like what?
These
characters. Yeah, these characters like LeBron to them. I don't know. I just think so this is coming from a guy that reads just about all the comics. I don't read all the novels, but I probably read 2 a year.
Yeah.
And I watch all the cartoons. I've seen them all. You know what I mean? I mean, Star Wars is dumb. Like, it's just a dumb premise. Like, Space Force is all dumb. It's just silly. It's not intelligent at all. And if you go into it like that, suddenly some of this stupid stuff is okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I'm the same. I read a couple of novels each year.
Discovery Bay sends $1.99. Says, "Thumbs up from Rock and Jump for my #comic book cousins."
There you go. Hey, this is
my brother. He's allegedly sneaking off to watch us while his kids are playing at the Rock and Jump.
Oh,
that's what he's talking about. Don't let the wife know. He wasn't here.
Let's see. We got a corner vlog. Julie sends in I believe that would be £4. I believe. Says Trinity, go buy another My Little Pony comic. Yes, I will. I will get that My Little Pony comic. Dang it, I will.
He's a brony.
And so we got Daddy Pants in the house. Metaphorical Air Spider 23 still here. Marquise Roberts still here. He says we need a My Little Pony comic cinematic universe. You know what? I got to be honest with you. That My Little Pony movie that came out a couple years ago, it wasn't that bad. My kids loved it.
The Brony one? Isn't there a pre-Brony? Brony's been around longer than the one you're talking about, right?
Which one?
Like the idea of bronies and those movies being good, that came out before 2 years ago, right? That's been like years and years, hasn't it?
I don't know. I'm not for sure.
Yeah, we need a good brony in the comic community to explain it. Listen, I kept my mind open. I've got people telling me Power Rangers is cool, and I'm like, when I see it for cheap, I'm gonna go pick it up. I'm gonna read it. I got my mind open, so I'll also have my mind open to that brony stuff. But we'll see. We'll see about it.
Have you been reading the TMNT Power Rangers?
Oh, that was these streams get off the rails easy. That was going to be one of the comics I talked about here.
Nice. I wasn't sure if that, because I remember you mentioned something in one of my comments. You're like, well, I think all this hype about it is going to make me want to get into the separate books, because I'm reading TMNT and that Power Rangers TMNT, but I want to jump into some Power Rangers. I've just been reading the old trades by Kyle Higgins, which are pretty good. I think that's just Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Bronies before Honies, Marquis said.
I have, yeah, I was gonna say I haven't read. I mean, I do have my Little Pony comic. I do have that. I got to admit, seeing all these My Little Pony comments in here.
I could almost buy a My Little Pony comic one time, because who was writing it? I think Teenie Howard was writing it. So it's like I've seen her grow over the last year or two, like where it was these stories that I like a little bit better. I was like, well, let me see what really early Teenie Howard was, and when I looked it up, I think it was her. She's writing My Little Pony. I was like, oh, but that's not the kind of thing you find for cheap. I'm not going to pay cover price for it. So
yeah. And speaking of which, like seeing people grow, like like the thing is like, like sometimes I go out there and I like, and I think we were talking about this last week was there's this little mini series they did called Fearless on Marvel Comics, and it was like the worst comic book I've ever read in my life.
Fearless?
Yeah. And I went out there and I bought all 4 or 5 issues of it. I read every single one. I've got all of them sitting here in my long box still, and I'm telling you,
it's Marvel?
Yeah,
the Captain Marvel.
It's the most god-awful series I've ever read in my life.
I remember you telling me about that.
I don't know how I made it through it, but it's pretty bad. But through some of that, like just so many people, things that you don't like out there. Like I want to see people improve. I want to see people get better. Like you were saying, like you followed Teenie Howard and you kind of seen some of that progression. Well, the one that got on my radar a while back, and that was during the War of the Realms event, was Leah Williams.
Okay.
She did a lot of. I can't remember which X-Men series she did. She was writing an X-Men series. She did that little Giant Man, this 3-issue series that tied into War of the Realms, and she's done some other stuff. I've read. She was doing some. Was it Deja Thoris and Barbarella over at Dynamite? She also did a series called Chastity. I think it just ended last month. And I didn't really like any of her work at all. Like I'm sitting there like, but I kept reading it. I went out of my way when she was writing something, like I'll go and read it to see like, come on, is she getting a bit like, I kind of felt like she could be good, but like there's always things in there that I'm kind of like, ugh. Ultimately make me think like, no, like almost. But then she finally hit it with the Amazing Mary Jane.
Oh, really? Of all things?
Yes.
I heard you. I remember you mentioning that was a lot better title than you thought it would ever be.
Oh yeah, because it was all set up through the Amazing Spider-Man, and actually somewhat in Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Better than ASM.
Through there, and like the story itself, like I started reading, I'm like, man, this story is actually pretty good. And so she's 6 issues in now, and I haven't read a bad issue yet.
Last issue of ASM was all about him trying to have phone sex with Mary Jane. Allegedly.
Yeah,
I think you might have got the pirate version, Dylan.
Yeah. I went a little deep with it. They definitely it was just a date on the phone, but I had to make a joke.
Yeah,
that would have been a lot better though if there was a pirated version. Because is it just me? What do you guys feel about that? Have you reading Nick Spencer's ASM?
Yeah, I've been reading it.
What do you think?
I think the last 10 issues or so have been pretty not great, just because they've been tied into so many events and everything. They need to just stop using the Amazing Spider-Man to do these tie-in events that mean nothing. Yeah. They need to just keep it Amazing Spider-Man.
I thought it started off really good.
Yeah, it's like
the beginning of the series.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I read the first trade, and then just because I was reading Absolute Carnage, and just because I got pulled into this silly 2099 thing, I've read what Trinity said. So I've read the first trade, which I thought was okay. I have a review up. I didn't think it was as good as some people thought. Also, people keep cutting down Taskmaster, man. That guy could be a great villain, and everyone makes him a joke. And they did that in that first trade. And then, like Trinity said, like the comic, I got into it because of these tie-ins, right? So I guess the marketing department worked, but I didn't see anything great about Nick Spencer in those. You know what I mean? They were just sort of like, they touched on 2099, then touched on something that's happening now with the time travel thing, and then Ultimate Carnage had some like, you know what I mean? It was real like disheveled. So I would have to read like volume 2 and 3 of the trades and stuff to really know how I feel about it.
Yeah, as I said, I think pretty much all through until they got to the Hunted was all pretty good setup, good story and everything, kind of bringing Spider-Man, Peter Parker back to more classic style Peter Parker as opposed to that Parker Industries stuff that Dan Slott did. Which I call him Peter Starker in that case, because he's a little more like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed it, and it seems like these last, like, even through the Hunted was actually pretty good, but I don't know, the Hunted for me, it still seemed like it was, I don't know, not completely well thought out and well fleshed out. But then they got into like these last 10 issues or so that just kind of tied into everything else. I'm just kind of like, I don't know, they just weren't as great. So hopefully they get back to doing good ones there. But RC Scott sends a $5 super chat, says, "What up, Second Street? Taking a quick break from writing to show some love. Happy Saturday." Well, thank you so much, RC Scott. Thank you so much for the generous donation, and thank all of the people who have sent super chats in for your generous donations. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Let's see. Fenrir Fire says, "Nice, man. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ranger comics are the bee's knees. Really want to check out the new crossover." Yeah, I haven't really been reading any of those, but you guys have.
I'm like you. I was told to, and then I just said okay. I think it's okay. I mean, listen, there's going to be a spoiler for this, and not for you, Trinity. You don't care. It's not too big. But I mean, there are things like. So I'm just telling everyone in the chat, I'm going to do it like a spoiler, but I don't think it's that bad. So there are things like when now Absolute Carnage, when you're watching it and then Hulk becomes Carnage, that's like, in my mind, that's fan service. That's like some silly thing that would be cool. Like, let's make a toy out of it or something. Like if I were a marketer. So that's what happens in this. Like that's a Shredder becoming the Green Ranger. You know what I mean? So it's a bunch of stuff like that. So if you're pissed that I spoiled it, that Trinity will give you all your super chats back. Just ask him.
Probably everyone should be spoiled by that. But before then, man, everyone was talking about that for like a week.
That's what I thought. That's what I heard too. So it's like, I mean, if you're like a '90s kid, you remember Power Rangers when you were a kid. Obviously, you remember Ninja Turtles. I mean, for Shredder to become the Green Ranger, I mean, that was silly enough to be cool. Like the only thing that would make me well, one, it's a 5-issue miniseries, so I've already got 2 in, so I'll probably finish. The only thing would stop is if my stack was so big you have to choose something. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's silly fun. And there's nothing wrong with it. It does the same thing every crossover does. There's a misunderstanding and they fight, and then they realize they're on the same side. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's just pure fun. You know, nothing more.
So, what are your okay? Do you guys have a favorite indie title that you're reading right now?
Yeah, my favorite one right now. It's probably been the same one for a while. I think it's either Middle West or Dead Eyes.
Oh yeah,
but Dead Eyes hasn't had a real full arc, but so Middle West. I love Middle West. So good. I think issue 14 comes out this week too. I love it, man.
I haven't read that. Who's writing that one?
Scotty Young.
Sounds familiar.
He just writes it. No, Jorge Corona does the artwork, and it's fantastic, dude. Dead Eyes though has been really good too. The like every issue has just been like, it's kind of like a funny mobster, like hitman type series. Not really comedic, really, but it has some comedic aspects here and there. But it's like kind of dark and gritty, and it's badass. Like if you like any type of mobster type stuff, I thought it was dope. But Middle West is like straight up, I don't know, it's like a fantasy adventure type story about a kid, you know, coming of age in a way. And what is it? I'm trying to think. There's so much because it's like you think it's one thing, and then it's just been going on for over a year at least, you know? So what was it? Forget what happened recently. Like these kids got like kidnapped or whatever, and this guy's like got them on working on a farm, shaved their heads and shit. But he's been like the main kid kind of like ran away from his father, who kind of like when he flips out and yells at him, and his mother kind of left the family. So it's just him and his dad, who's kind of like a crazy, I don't know if he's, I would say abusive, but I don't know if he ever like beats him. I can't remember in those early issues, but I know he was like, you know, really kind of violent and would yell at him. So he like, but when he flips out, he turns into like this tornado monster. And the kid finds out when he runs away with his talking fox. That's kind of like his dog. It's like a talking fox. He finds out that he has the similar power. And so when he gets angry, he kind of tears up like a whole town.
Oh, what's this we got here?
This Middle West
artwork. The artwork and colors are like insane, man. And Scotty Young has been doing a great job writing it.
Yeah. So what I'll say about Middle West, probably wouldn't call it my favorite, but I like it a lot. What I will say is that the two comics,
read more indies than me.
The two comics I've made, well, I'm also behind on it. I'm on like issue 8. The two comics I knew my wife would like is Saga, for one. So she read all of Saga, and then recently I gave her Middle West, and she got like 4 issues and loves it. That's
why it kind of reminds. It's like not like Saga at all, but I don't know.
Not like Saga at all.
No,
because it's an adventure. They're all adventures.
Yeah, exactly. And I love adventure stories. Like I'm a big Lord of the Rings guy. I love adventure stories.
Yeah.
What's yours, Trinity?
You know, I've got a couple actually, a couple of them that I really liked. I think one of them is probably taking a month off. I'm not sure if basically it's because the first story arc is over or what's going on, but one of them is, and I just picked this up at my LCS just the other day. They actually happened to have this one in here.
Nice, you got that cover too
of the plot. Dude. Yeah, I showed up and it was one of the covers, the homage cover that I wanted, and I got there and they had it still. And I was like, ooh! I was like, I'm grabbing it.
Nice. Is that number 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got number 4. I got number 4 in my to read stack, so that's coming up soon. Or maybe I did read number 4. Actually, I've read all 4.
Yeah, I wanted that, but my shop didn't order it. That was the one that really stuck out to me. That and Cult Classics. Cult Classics was the one I really, really wanted.
Yeah, Cult Classics is pretty good too. But yeah, I think the plot is definitely one of my favorites, and like because it's a great horror book.
Yeah,
the art in it like really helps set the it really helps tell the story, and like I don't know, there's some crazy stuff going on in it. You know, it's funny because like I'm not like a big like really huge into horror or everything, but I think the comics are bringing me back.
And that's awesome because you know I'm a huge horror guy, so that's why like I've been trying to get into more horror comics, because I'm just, when it comes to the movies, that's like it's one of my favorites. The only thing that competes with Marvel movies and DC movies is, horror movies.
You got to get on Colin Bunn stuff then, Dylan.
I've read a couple of things. I read like what was it?
Empty Man.
I was reading that. I ended up dropping it though in the beginning, but I wish I stayed on it because I kind of just stopped reading it. So then I was just like, well, if I'm behind on the issues, I just dropped it. But I read the first 2 issues and they were amazing. It was this like ghost story, and it was all right. It was like a mini series like a year ago. But Colin he's got like he has like 10 different ghost stories at one time. Let me see, maybe I can find it really quick.
So Dark Ark, Harrow County, things like that. So I don't know that this is my favorite, but when I was doing a review of this Sonata, which not a lot of people are talking about, when I was reviewing this and as I was talking about it and what I read, I realized how much I really liked it. It's 7 issues in, and there's like so much conflict and so many things happening like on a political and personal level. And then it's told in a way that it's all action. I realized 7 issues in that, hey, that David Hine here was able to develop sort of like this like political thing with 2 races from different planets that land on this other planet. So their political issues along with the issues with like the natives that are there. And then there's like this crazy action because there's like some ancient civilization that actually was on there. And then there's also like a little bit of a Romeo and Juliet thing that looks like it's starting to happen with, the daughter who is Sonata of one of the races from the planet with the son of the other leader. And so there's all kinds of levels going on there. And I really enjoyed Sonata. It took a little bit of time. I saw a lot of people, drop it after 1 issue. And maybe I was almost there too. I still liked it. But it was something I'm glad I stuck with for sure that's not being talked about. The first trade just came out. So hopefully it's like most Image trades, it's $9.99. But I'd recommend picking it up and reading it and then tell me whether you liked it or not, because I would be very curious.
This was the one I was talking about.
Cold Spots.
Did you check this one? It was all right.
I haven't read it.
It was only 5 issues, and that's why. So I was reading Empty Man, and then I was like, oh, you know me, I'm a sucker for the mini series. Trying to think that, covers were kind of like all the same, similar. That's a cool cover though with the house. But then like a tree. So what was it, 4? I think it was like this guy, he like just comes and figures out he has a daughter or something, and then the daughter's like can talk to ghosts or some shit. It was weird. It wasn't his best because I know he can do like some really good stories horror wise. Yeah, but yeah, I want to get into some more horror, some more independent horror stories because I've been loving the Hill House comics, but some of them have been kind of fizzling out. Like I didn't really care. Like I don't know, I wasn't that crazy about issue 2 of Lolo Woods, even though that cover was insane. Maybe I gotta get a reread.
Air Spider says, I dig horror comics more than the movies for some reason. I feel the same way. I'm not a big horror movie guy for whatever reason, but when I read like the plot, for example, shut up, Harry.
He's totally clowning. Yeah, he didn't even read it, and he didn't even read it, and he messaged me the picture.
Yeah, if Perry were on the stream, he would say Folklords, by the way, which I really like, but I was surprised. He surprises me sometimes, man. Like he'll say something like that, and then Folklords, which I thought was good. He's like, that's amazing. I was like,
I know. Really? I don't know about amazing. It's good, but I still got to read issue 2. What was your favorite though, Chris? Was it Sonata? Was that the one you said? Your favorite indie?
I mean, I don't even know. It's hard for me to rank stuff, even though I put grades on my thumbnails.
Yeah.
But those are all lies. I just make up a thing. Because
I love something that's telling the children, but they don't have a full arc yet. And Kanto and stuff, but that's done now until series 2.
I'll call this out because for the metalheads in the group, or I guess horror or whatever, you know what I mean? Like Carolina Chris sent me this along with like the contest win that I got. And so at first I was like, you know, whatever, that's cool. Like it's an indie. Anyone that watched my channel knows I'll read all the random shit, all the random stuff.
That's awesome.
So I opened it up and like a demon comes out of this dude's like. I mean, maybe I'll show this real quick, Trinity. But like in like pages, a demon comes out of this guy's ass and like then proceeds to kill him, of course, and then it just becomes almost like a just weird horror, like if Quentin Tarantino did, Power Rangers. Let's just call it that, I guess. You know what I mean? Like a Monster of the Week sort of feel. But I sat and ended up reading this. I read that at first. I was like, what the hell did Chris just send me? Carolina Chris 26, like, what the hell did you just send me? And then after I got like 3 or 4 pages in, you know, I didn't stop. I basically read it in 1 or 2 sittings that day, and it was extremely entertaining. There's actually a part 1 to this, so that was good. That's a very indie book. That's like not even in previews. You got to buy it. You got to like go to the guy's website, sort of indie that he sent me. So I like that a lot. I like it enough that I'll probably buy the other one. It was really, really crazy book. So
right on. Yeah, as I say, yeah, I think my other favorite one has been Resonant on Vault Comics also. That's been another one I really enjoyed. It's like a post-apocalyptic type of book. But yeah, as I say, I know Perry, yeah, he sure loves that Folklords. I thought Folklords were pretty good too. But yeah, I've been reading. This is another one. I think they should be coming back soon as well. And that's this one right here is Resonant.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've heard good things about that. Man, I want to get into this. Oh, that's like another thing. Vault, man. I want to get into them so bad this year.
Yeah, this one actually was. I think I bought two of these, but it's like a 1 and 2. They only did 250 of these covers.
That one.
Yeah,
I like that cover you're holding because I think the other one isn't it like yellow writing or something?
It's a
highlighter color. Maybe I could be wrong.
Let me see. Because yeah, I see.
Sure.
I see. He tweeted it out, and I was like, oh hell yeah, I'll get one. Here's the original. The original number.
Yeah, what I thought.
That's the one with the girl with the messed up leg, right?
Huh?
That's the one with the little girl with the messed up leg.
Yeah.
At the beginning. Okay, I read the first issue. I don't know why I didn't buy it. I don't know why I stopped. I think I didn't put it in my box, and then they just didn't get issue 2. But Vault's been great. I know everyone's talking about Boom, but Vault's been great too. That's one I don't buy. I buy Necromancer's Map.
Yeah,
Boom just has something is killing the children
and Sarah of the
Rangers and stuff. I guess now they got Folklords, but I think Vault is probably like from what I hear from Robbie and stuff. That's what I'm trying to get into like big time. I wish that more of their series I could jump into, but they're already on like issue 3 and 4 because I want to read so many of those. Like I said, the classic. That's like my number 1 want to read. But I got that Finger Guns that I'm checking out. So
yeah, I got that on my full list.
Is that Vault?
Yeah, that's Vault.
Mm-hmm.
I got it on my full list too, so that's cool. Yeah, they have a bunch of stuff I'm reading, so I like them a lot. I mean, Boom has really hit out of the park. It's just when everyone's ready to say Boom, I'm like, Boom's awesome. Yeah. And they got like 4 or 5 titles that have been great. Yeah. Image is still the best. Like they just churn. There's just I know that it's hard to say it, but there's just quality and quantity in Image. Like just still too much good stuff comes out of there. It's just getting boring. It's getting boring to say they're the best,
Right. Yeah, and that's where I've really largely, really started to like all the Vault titles and even Aftershock. Like I heard you saying about the Necromancer's Map as well. I was reading that one too, and it looks like it ended and is going to possibly spin off into another story, another title. It looks like
it didn't end. It ended.
Yeah. Yeah, in issue 4, it came to an end, and they made mention of. It sounds like they're going to start another arc for it. Because in the very back here in issue 4, they pretty much finished their mission, and then they're sitting there having this conversation about what they're going to do next, and they ask, oh God, what was his name? The guy here that they saved from from all the mages. It says he says, I do. Next stop, the Covenant of Necromancers. So I'm guessing that's going to be the title of the next book.
Oh, I'll bet. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I put that in my to read pile and then it just got buried because I don't remember it ending. So
Yeah,
I got
it was only 4 issues. So, but I thought it was pretty good. I mean, the art is, the art was decent for what it is. But
yeah,
I think the story itself was pretty decent. Just kind of a medieval fantasy type of book.
Yeah, it was a cartoony art, so the art was, it was still a B or something like that, but the story was very fun, so I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it made me want to kind of go back and maybe check out the series that came before that, which was the Songs for the Dead.
Chaos, you said Image got so much good stuff. I was thinking of this. I haven't picked it up, but I hear amazing things from like Robbie and Bueller, and they were like, nobody's gonna pick this up because of the covers. But were you picking up Olympia?
Yeah. So some people don't like it. One of the guys that I really respect, that I like his videos, Sleepy Reader 666.
Yeah.
He's been on YouTube for like 7-8 years, just talking about comics. He doesn't like it. Dylan, tell you the truth, dude, I don't know that. I'm not saying that it's definitely not above you. It's actually might be too simple, but yeah, some people don't like it because it's like it has like a Jack Kirby throw. I literally just have piles of comics sitting around me, so it has like just a Jack Kirby throwback to it.
Yeah.
But what Sleepy Reader says is that it's almost embarrassed. To me, it's an homage, but like it's a childish homage. And Sleepy Reader, when he saw it and that this is being sold as a Jack Kirby homage,
Mm-hmm.
in his head, that is just like so simple and just plain.
Yeah.
That embarrassing to call it that. But I think it's more about the feeling of like New Gods or Eternals or things like that you had as a kid. Like, because when you're a kid and if you're reading some of that old stuff, you didn't recognize that Jack Kirby knew where every ab was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It probably looked like that to your eyes, right? So, I think that's a reasonable criticism of it. But to me, it's really simple story. Basically, this Thor character and the villain come to the real world. The kid is reading the comic and it's starting to happen. So it feels like you've seen that a few times. But also what sort of grabs the heartstrings on it, I mentioned this in my review too, is that the author sort of developed this book while his dad was in chemo and dying. You know what I mean? So it sort of has that little like heartstring attached to it. I'd like to see, for me, like how a book is written. Normally you imagine like a guy with his notebook alone writing it. I'd like to see, for me, how in that situation a book is written, even though it might have just been in concept and then Kurt Pierce did it on his own. So I think I think for that reason it's interesting. But if you had to, I would say this would be a little bit lower on the list of like new books to pick up. I would think, but I think it might be worth it. It's different enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So maybe wait for trade, or if anything, maybe I'll try to snag it one of these days.
Yeah. Trades I want to pick up. I want to pick up on Image Comics. I want to go back and pick up all the older issues of Ice Cream Man.
Yeah.
That.
Wow, dude.
I'm embarrassed.
I read the first issue. So good because I got like one of those Image first.
Yeah. Those books. Those books are really good, especially because like the art meets the story so halfway.
Yeah.
It's so great because like I read the books and like I feel creeped out by them. I feel creeped out.
Oh man. After that first issue, what happens? Like, dude, the little twist. I don't want to say it for anyone who hasn't read it, but yeah, dude, like Ice Cream Man. So with the werewolf, oh, dude, so dope.
How embarrassing is, like, I literally have not read one issue of Ice Cream Man. That's like one I missed on, and it's one that
I never did either. I never did either. I can't believe you're not reading it though, but Yeah, that like Ice Cream Man, Gideon Falls, and Oblivion Song are like the top 3 that I want to get in trade. But Southern Comic Geek said, he was just on Disco last night. Great guy. I was fucking happy to talk to him yesterday for a little bit. But he said he's gonna send me the first trade of Gideon Falls, so I was super excited for that because been getting into Jeff Lemire and a Killer Smile and with the Question, which I love. I'm just hopping on that Jeff Lemire train.
Just random stacks of comics just sitting around, also sitting here. The Question.
I know. I got like 4 random stacks too.
You got the A. This was the only one that got up there, so
I was gonna get that though, but I wasn't crazy about like the background coloring, and I just went with this because this one I liked better. It's Bill Sienkiewicz. This one though was done by Jeff Lemire. I didn't know that Jeff Lemire actually drew this cover.
Yeah, he's a good artist. He has a book called Royal City.
Yeah,
no one talks about. Everyone talks, and I'm sure Gideon Falls is great. I've never read it. Right, I still need to read it too. I've got the trade, and I just haven't read it. But Royal City was really good. I didn't even finish it. It was one of those things where it just stopped showing up at the shelf. I should have put it in my box. So I need to go find that. So
this comment here, Dylan. So Dylan comic book rants. You're like Deadpool. You're in every comic.
Dude, Deadpool was even in this Venom comic that's 1 trillion years in the future.
Oh man, that's great. That's funny though.
He makes a little cameo right there, 1 trillion years in the future.
Oh wow.
And is mad that Wolverine's headshot is bigger than his. So yeah, Dylan.
Yeah, Something's Killing the Children is pretty good too. I gotta say, I think issue number 3 seemed to drag out the story a little bit, and then it picked back up in issue number 4. But Something is Killing the Children's been pretty good, I thought.
So that's funny, Trinity, because I don't want to. There's no spoiler here. I don't want to ruin it for you. That's how I felt about. I just read the 4th issue of The Plot, and I'm like, dude, this has the same tense feel, but it's like it felt a little dragged. Like hopefully number 5 brings it back in line.
Yeah, I could see that where it just kind of carried on the same thread of what we were learning through issue 3.
Yeah,
and sometimes I wonder too, because I've seen like Once in Future, it started off only going to be like a little 5 or 6 issue miniseries, and now it's an ongoing. It makes me wonder if some of that happens because of things like that. If they were holding out to see if they were going to get more or what the deal is.
So I'm on Kieran Gillen's Discord. He has a Discord for the Die RPG. So I mean, there's a comic room in there, and he actually said that he had a bunch of story for Once in Future, and originally, I'm gonna have to check back, so don't quote me on it. But originally, it was, hey, we'll do a 6-issue miniseries, and then we'll come back a year later if it was received well, and we'll do another 6-issue, something like that, right? Where it was open. So he had story. I don't know if it got I don't know if like some of the plot stuff changed because number 6 ends on a cliffhanger, but he had story. He was just going to make it a 6-issue series and leave some of it untalked about. But then what you just said, though, something obviously changed because issue 6 ended on a cliffhanger, a cool cliffhanger, but nonetheless a cliffhanger.
Yeah, definitely. We got Fatal J in the chat. What's up, Fatal J? How are you doing, my brother? Hope all is well, man. Yeah, and that was, I think, didn't Something is Killing the Children become an ongoing as well?
I don't know. I'm not reading.
Yeah, it is on. It was. I thought it was supposed to be 6, a mini. Now it's an ongoing.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking he's got one story arc, and then it's going to continue on because the way it can go, she can go from city to city and just be killing monsters, dude. It looks like there's almost like, somebody kind of sending her out to do these jobs too in the background. He's been like she keeps answering these calls. She's got somebody that has like a hookup. She has a connection that's kind of getting her, that will get her out of jail even though she got herself out of prison in the last issue, or out of jail or out of custody from that cop that was giving her shit before he even called. So there's something going on. And I think he had like a ring or something, or he had like a cane with something's going on though. But I'm excited to see what's next. Feel like it's been a while too since we went from issue 4 and 5 doesn't come out for, I didn't see it for next week, I don't think. So I'm hoping maybe the week after. It feels like a while.
Well,
So Marquise says Jeff Lemire's Gideon Falls, which we mentioned. And if we're talking Jeff Lemire, it's hard not to talk about Black Hammer, unless you're like me and have read very little of it. I only read the first trade. You guys read any Black Hammer?
no,
I
haven't. What about you, Dylan?
What? Black Hammer? I've never read any Black Hammer.
Yeah, so we suck. But what's interesting though, Trinity, and we could talk about this one separately, is I read Black Hammer. I read the first volume. I thought it was okay. But my shtick on it was that it just felt very post superhero. It felt like Lemire was writing Alan Moore, which, I mean, that should be great, right? Like, those are two great writers, but I was not in the mood for that sort of feeling. And so I didn't pick up I was, when I'm ready for that, I'll do it again. But then I read No Ones, and it's sort of the same idea. It has that like post superhero feeling, like a superhero irony, maybe a little bit more serious than Black Hammer. Black Hammer is very whimsical.
Mm-hmm.
Not very whimsical, but more than No Ones. But then I sat and read No Ones and loved it, and No One's talking about that, pun not intended there.
Yeah, right.
But we'll have to talk about No One's a little bit in depth sometime, Trinity, for sure, because that I called it my most underrated of 2019. So I enjoyed it a lot. Welby did the art, who's now doing the art on Marvel's X, which a lot of people liked. So I just want to throw that out there because I didn't want to not mention Black Hammer if we're talking about Jeff Lemire. In fact, the chat is probably filled with people being like, "You three idiots didn't read Black Hammer."
Some people have been raving about that Skull Boy and Digger Boy, Skull Digger and Skeleton Boy.
That Marvel's X is being written by Jim Kruger as well, isn't it?
Yeah, he pulled over Welby, so obviously he liked the art in that Mad Cave Indie, and then brought him on the big Marvel book. So good for Welby on that.
Yeah,
it's a lot of dark art.
What was he writing on Mad Cave?
The No Ones.
No Ones.
Yeah, you were reading Eminem lyrics down there or something while we were just talking about it.
Probably. No, I was probably reading the chat. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I can't wait for Neon Future to come back. They did the volume 1, just the first 6 issues ended, I want to say like August or September, and I just had to pull this one out because I'm telling you, when I seen that Iron Man 2020 issue come out this week, I immediately thought of this book right here. I mean, it looks almost identical, and I'm not sure if you've seen the cover for Iron Man 2020, but to me, it looked just like this.
That's not the cover
scheme, I guess.
Is that a variant cover? That's not the cover I have for that book.
Yeah, this one's the C cover.
The C cover. You know what? I didn't finish it. I have all 6 issues, but I got to like number 4 or 5. Sometimes stuff just gets buried, man. So I need to finish that because that was real good too. Jim Kruger is a great writer.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a great writer. So, and he's doing Marvel stuff again right now for Marvel's X, but it seemed like he went underground for a long time. So he's a guy that you're gonna know that you're gonna get something good out of it. Maybe it's not gonna be your favorite thing of the year or something, but you're gonna get some kind of quality. Which Jeff Lemire's like that too. There's a few guys like that. So
yeah, as I said, I haven't really read much of Jeff Lemire except for the trees.
No,
that's
Warren Ellis.
That's doing Family Tree. Oh no, Family Tree. Not trees. Yeah,
trees. Yeah, that's Warren Ellis.
Yeah, no, I think it's called Family Tree, and it's it's Jeff Lemire as well, and it's a kind of an odd one. It's on Image Comics.
Where's Perry in the chat to be like, did I hear someone say tree?
I read issue 1, Trinity, and I meant for them to take it out of my box. Normally I give something more than 1 issue, but when I read it, it was okay, like you said. When I read it, I was like, is this the Jeff Lemire I want to be buying? When I got I literally have Gideon Falls right here. Black Hammer, I'm probably ready to start that. So Family Tree was okay. It reminded me of this book I read a few years ago called The Vegetarian, where this girl, it's a crazy book. It's a shit show book. But this girl, she becomes vegetarian, but it's actually part of her descent into madness. And at the end of it, she's in an insane asylum. It's a book by a Korean author. It's real small. She's in an insane asylum, and she just becomes, in her mind, she's becoming a tree. And when I was reading Family Tree, I was like, oh, this is like that book, except it's really happening to the kid. You know what I mean?
Right. Huh.
Yeah. So anyway, that's me connecting literature to comics now. So
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe. I was gonna say, was it the same writer?
yeah, no, yeah, Jeff Lemire. You know, the Korean. I can't remember the Korean girl's name now, but she's a great writer too.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
crazy.
a book.
Hey, look, somebody else here has actually been reading the No Ones also. Southern Comic Geek says, I agree, No Ones was good. Yeah.
I think, didn't he say he just met him recently too? Let me see. He said, somebody said, very nice guy. Maybe,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, I met Jim Kruger a couple weeks ago. Real nice.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I mean, it was actually Jim Kruger who turned me on to the No Ones, because I think I shared a post about Neon Future or something on Instagram, and he's like, "Oh, hey, well, if you like that, if you like this type of book, you should check out this one." And he was like, "Issue number 3 is getting ready to hit the shelf." So I was like, "Okay." So I went to my comic book shop and they got it in for me, and yeah, ended up finishing up the series. And the thing is, I finished up the series, and then I went back and got issue 1 and 2, because I'm like, I feel like I'm missing enough here that I want to read that to be filled in, because especially with just like a 6-issue miniseries. But I feel with an indie comic book anyway, like you want to read those first few issues to get the setup and know what's going on.
Yeah, I think you did miss a lot in those first 2 issues, because you missed a lot of that setup. In fact, the setup, I imagine some people maybe didn't like it if they read the first and second issue. If it was something they could have dropped, maybe some people did, because it was, to me, it was good setup, like artistically good and stuff. But it was definitely a setup thing. Like nothing happened that you didn't read in the first illicit, essentially. But well written and beautifully drawn at the same time. So that's interesting that you got to start from 3 and went on. But yeah, I recommend the No Ones to anyone. It's just hard. It's just hard to find. And I can imagine, by the way, Jim Kruger telling you that on Twitter, I can imagine that's true, because he's probably making a larger chunk of the money on Mad Cave with his own idea, where that Neon Future is associated with who's that EDM guy?
Yeah, Steve Aoki.
Yeah, I don't even like to tell people that it's associated with Steve Aoki, because it makes people think it's like cheap. The story is actually really good.
Or like it's gonna be easy or something.
Yeah.
And the way I tell people about it is, not only Jim Kruger, but also Tom Bilyeu, who runs Impact Theory. Because I'm not sure if you follow his channel here on YouTube, but Tom Bilyeu has this excellent channel where he does, like on Tuesdays, he does a show talking to people in like business and stuff, and like what they've done to be successful in their lives, just kind of their journey, really. And then on Thursdays, he does one called Health Theory, where they talk with doctors and just other different people with things relating to health kind of stuff. I'm really into that kind of shit, so I really like watching his channel.
That's cool. I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah, he did the other day with this doctor. They were talking like real heady shit, like really philosophical type of stuff, and like I'm really into all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was really cool to see. I think it was nearly 2 hours. I still got to finish some of it.
Two Gun Pedro's in here now.
Oh yeah,
yeah. What's going on, Two Gun?
Two Gun Pedro. I think Two Gun Pedro seem to bid on the exact same thing on JV's pop-up shop often. I feel maybe it's Cicero. I can't remember now. So
yeah.
You ever buy anything on there, Chaos?
Yeah, I got a stack. He sent me one, and I got one building up. The problem is, though, is that I'm not. Obviously, it's cool that the community's buying stuff, but if I want something, I'll just pay the $1.
Yeah.
When people come in and buy stuff, then now suddenly there's
everybody
being for the $1 book, which I'd have just bought, So
yeah.
So sometimes when I see that, and I'll also, when those come up, I'm at work too. They're like at 2:30 at my time, so I can listen sort of, but I mean I do have to work. You know what I mean? Rich people need to get richer, like you said.
Yeah.
These rich people richer.
How you think the rich stay rich?
Yeah, maybe they hire me.
Right. There you go.
Anyway, I don't know what's next.
I don't know. What else you guys got? What is there anything upcoming that you're looking forward to? Any books coming out
this week? I'm trying to think. Guardians, I'm excited for.
Coming up soon.
I'm wondering when the next issue of Thor comes out.
In a couple weeks. You know what? the way I buy comics, it's almost like I get a mystery box every week that I know what's coming. Because like I'll put the stuff in solicits and then forget about it.
Right.
People will be surprised that I don't know what's coming on Wednesday. Like I might look real quick or something. People will be surprised. I'm like, JB's like, what are you waiting for on Wednesday? I don't know. It'll be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you're lucky on that, because sometimes I have to make sure, because sometimes I gotta make sure. You know how many times I go home and I'm like looking through and I'm like, yeah, I feel like something's missing, and then I look and I'm like, motherfucker, I'm missing 2 or 3 books in here, or at least one. So then now I have to make a list before I go, and I have to check mark that shit before I walk out of the store, because I'm sick of having to go back. It's like, yo, gas costs a lot of money nowadays, and I don't got it to just go back and forth.
Definitely.
Especially when it should be in my box, you know? But
yeah, I think
people make mistakes, so I don't hold it against the dude. But
one of them I seen getting ready to come out. God, was it the man who effed up the universe? I'm not sure. I think that's coming out on Aftershock Comics.
Okay.
Called The Man Who Effed Up the Universe, and I don't know. It sounded like something kind of interesting, and it's on Aftershock Comics. So I'm like, hey, why the hell not?
Now I gotta see if I did that. So one of my LCSs, actually, you do the pull list through the previews website. And I gotta tell you, and he's a small dude. He just opened last year, so it's a year old LCS. It's right in the Target parking lot kind of thing. And his pull list, I just go on to previewsworld.com and I choose stuff there. And so I was like, when you just said man who effed up the world, made me think. I remember seeing that. I was like, because with Aftershock a lot, I wait for trade, because I think Aftershock always reads better on arcs. So when you said that, I was like, oh, I got to pull a preview, see if I pick that up, or if it was something I was going to wait for trade on.
Yeah, and that's something else getting ready to come out. Should be coming out soon on trade. Is that Bueller's been talking a lot about that? Is that Midnight Vista?
Yeah, that's coming out in trade soon. I'll buy that in trade for sure.
I would just each issue, but my LCS, they don't have issue number 1, but they've got like 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm like, dang it! I want to buy them. But without the issue number 1, I think it's just so crucial. I think it's something crucial for getting into a story like that, especially, if it's only going to go 5 or 6 issues in the first place.
Yeah. Did you guys, I know it's still comic talk in a way, but did you see they got rid of the director for Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
He was trying to go full horror, I think. And I think that they don't. So I heard Kevin Feige saying, there was people asking him, they're like, oh, how are you? We're going to get a full horror movie. And he's like, well, this was Feige saying, he's like, well, it's going to have like horrific elements, not really going to be a full horror movie. And I'm like, oh man, I'm excited as hell for it. But I feel like that guy he's done a lot of horror movies. So he's like a horror director. I think maybe he wanted to go a little darker than they want to, because they want to keep it kid friendly. And that kind of bums me out, because they said that they left for creative differences, but it's like you never really know, I guess.
I mean, it was a timing issue. Hey, Trinity, did we?
Could be.
Once in Future, that last issue wasn't the 6th issue?
I think it was issue. I think it was 5.
There's one more. So that's
coming out. Issue coming out this week.
Yeah, that's coming out this week.
Is that the last one?
The other thing I'm getting that might be a little random is from Action Lab. I don't even know. I can't even see. This is an example. If you didn't ask me, I wouldn't have picked it up, and I'd have been like, "Oh, surprise!" This book, Twin Worlds, from Action Lab Entertainment.
See, man, that's what I'm saying. Previews don't show dope shit like that, man. It's like I want to know about more of these.
Dude, I'm literally on previews, Dylan. What the hell are you talking about?
Are you? Well, I didn't see it.
I just
know that. I see it now. But it's like, what is it like? What part? Because it's not like they have that comic shot. They don't have that label in previews.
It'd be in the green section. I know that.
Yeah, it's the green section, Dylan. You got to go. So they have like the big ones, like where Aftershock is the smallest, let's say, or one of those are the smallest.
Yeah.
If you flip on the website, I'm not sure how you get there, but in the in a previews book, which that's something I don't have laying around. You got one, Trinity?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got them in
Usually
I would probably go to the green pages, man.
Yeah, in the green section.
Well, I need to figure out how to use that for the app because I don't get the previews anymore. I ain't wasting my money on that. I mean,
I stopped too for that reason.
some people say they get a free previews for having a poll, and I was like, man, well, where the hell is that for me? But Decorum, dude, I seen the previews for Decorum. That shit looks sick, man. The artwork, at least, I'm
really weird
for the artwork. Yeah, it's so weird. But I'm like, that would be so cool to get the previews because it's like, yo, you would be smart to be doing that because it's gonna have me buying more, if anything. So it's like, I don't know, man. That's why I need to be having my own comic shop to run because I'd have some good ideas, man.
Yeah.
And I'd be boosting the hell out of that shit, having like parties, having fucking creators and stuff come in. I'd be trying to do whatever, man.
Yeah, your guy seems like he's just happy with the money that comes in, and
yeah,
because my small one, like he even if it's small guys, he has like these inkers and artists come in. He just had an operation, so he's probably not going to do the midnight party for Wolverine.
Yeah,
but he normally does the midnight.
Man, see, that's sick, dude. Like, I see my guy, he'll have like a paper, but it's like there's not gonna be a party or no midnight thing. When he had one guy come in and it was like a local writer for Apama. I don't know if any of you guys ever heard of that Apama book. It's like based in Cleveland, the story. And yo, what's going on, two brothers? We got Nick in the house in the chat. Good to see you, brother.
So what is that Ninjak? What is that thing, Trinity, that they're saying in the chat?
It's a Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe. It looks like it's like a TV show or something that they did. Basically, I'm not sure if it was a series of TV shows or if it was just like a little movie that looks like it was done. I'm not sure if it was done by Valiant themselves, but yeah, Marquise Roberts been blasting me about it for, well, he even said over a month now. So I told him, I was like, I'll eventually get to it.
I'll check it out. It'll be a topic for the next chat.
Yeah.
We're going to a fight party, so I'm going to have to wrap it up for me.
You want to see the Connor?
An hour and a half here anyway. So
Connor whoop on Cowboy?
No, we're just going to go to a party and fight each other.
Yeah. Nice.
So, we did an hour and a half. That breezed right by.
Yeah. I was going to say, man, when that guy came in to write, the writer of Apama, he was just like sitting in the corner of the comic shop, like just talk, like looking at his phone. Didn't say like anything on social media. He might have said like the day, but it's like you would think you would kind of promote this for like a week straight or something. And came in like it was like he wasn't even there. I was like, yo, who is this guy just sitting in the corner? And he's like, well, you could go talk to him. And I was like, okay, so, but. I know Chaos gotta go. I just think that was so fun. I was just thinking of that. That's like the only time he's ever had something. So I wish he would have got Boer, like David Boer, I believe it is, from Kanto. He was in Ohio, and I was like, dude, you should come. I messaged him like, you should come to my shop. But I'm like, my guy would never book him. I don't know how that works. So I don't know if he pays him or what. But it's like I would have been up in there buying some books. Getting them signed. That's usually what it is. You buy a book and they'll sign it. Sometimes when they come in the comic shop.
It depends how big they are.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can go ahead and Chris, before you go, let everybody know where they can find you at.
You can find me at Chaos and Comics on Instagram and Twitter. And then on the YouTube channel, it's called the same thing. So I mostly review, so it's not like stuff you got to read or you got to watch every video or something. I don't expect that, but I guess what my channel mostly is that I read stuff, and if you're interested in talking about the thing that we both read or the thing that I read, that's more what I'm interested in, is just talking comics like this in the chats wherever, and also making off-color jokes. I guess that's just part of my shtick, trying not to curse on other people's channels except for Perry's. It doesn't work. So that's about it. So that pretty much sums it up right there.
All right. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, man, and enjoy the rest of your evening. And I guess we'll talk next Saturday. Maybe we'll talk about this Ninjak versus the Valiant universe.
Yeah, let's see what's going on with that. I'm gonna watch it without. I'm telling Marquise right now, I'm gonna watch it with no background. I mean, I've read some Ninjak and some Valiant back in the day. I have no idea what it is. I didn't know they made a show. I'm just gonna watch it. And
I didn't know they made a show either.
Go raw.
Mhm.
Raw dog that show. See, off-color comments on other people's channels.
All good, man. All good.
Okay.
All right, man. Well, have a good one. Have
See
a
you
great
guys.
rest of your night. And we'll see you later.
Okay.
Well, Trinity, I'll see you probably like soon, just on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, hey, I got to stream in an hour, so you'll see me too. If you're in the chat, which I figured you will be.
Yeah, I'll pop in the chat. There's got to be some boring fights.
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Later,
There
guys.
definitely will be.
Later.
Later.
All right, Dylan, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you and what you got coming up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You guys can find me on all social media outlets under Dylan's Comic Book Rants on Instagram, Twitter, all that whatnot. I got some fun things coming up. In about an hour, I will be doing a live stream with the one and only pop culture philosophers, Rock and Robbie Billups. We had a great show last weekend. Me and Trinity did one, and then right after, I had the live stream with Robbie, and it was just absolutely so much fun. So I can't wait to do another one in an hour. So also the big one, the really big one, I got a stream coming tomorrow, Sunday night, 8 o'clock or 9 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, I always forget that because I got the 8 p.m. tonight. But I'm doing my first interview with a comic book creator, the writer of Finger Guns, the next #1 issue coming out of Vault Comics. We've been talking about these indies. We've been talking about Vault, and I got the writer of Finger Guns coming on tomorrow to talk with me. And, to answer any questions maybe you guys might have in case you guys want to put this on your poll. I've already read the first issue a couple times now, and it's a really good book. Really enjoyed it, but I hope you guys will be there to check it out, man, because my first interview with the creator, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm really excited, and this interview is just the start of a lot more things to come. 2020 is going to be a big one, so if you guys want to check my channel out, much appreciated. If you want to throw that sub, hit that bell notification and be on the lookout because I'll have a lot of content coming soon. And I appreciate it as always, Trinity.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for being here. Like I said, we'll get together next Saturday. And
Sure.
thank you everybody else out there in the chats for being here and taking part in the show. I hope you're all having a very good day. Have a great rest of your weekend and have a great week at work. We'll see you all in the next video. Later.
Yes, sir. Peace out, y'all. Thanks for hanging.